It is 5 p.m. and this is Distinctive Delphine in Montrose, Colorado. Today with Inga from Telluride. Today we want to shift our focus a little bit. Sustainability is very, very important to me. And a common friend put us together knowing how important sustainability is to me. So I'm really excited to have Inga from Planet Over Plastic in Mountain Village. Hi, Inga. How are you today?
Hi, I'm doing really well. Glad to be here
I
talking with
am
you
glad
about
to
all this
have you.
stuff that I really care about.
Yes, I'm really glad
Yeah.
to have you. I am so excited that you agreed to do this because for me, plastic is a huge place in my heart, especially being from Europe, where you can't even have a plastic bag at the checkout at the grocery store. So why don't you tell me a little bit more about yourself and
Yeah.
what you do?
I grew up here in Telluride, Colorado, and I'm a teacher. That's what is my career is teaching. And I recently, well, it's been a couple of years now, went down to South America and opened an alternative school down there. And during that time, I did a really beautiful project on the ocean with the kids. And during that project, we started learning a lot about trash and what's happening to our oceans. And I actually did a homework assignment for the kids to make dinner with their families and count how many pieces of plastic trash they used in their dinner. And so I did the homework assignment as well. And ever since that, it just shifted my entire perspective. And I started to become really aware of the amount of trash and specifically plastic that we are producing and using. I ended up returning to the United States and I started to get really involved in volunteer organizations like Surfrider, Plastics.
Yeah.
And that was in St. Petersburg, Florida. And we focused on eliminating plastic down there, a local ban that was in place for straws and styrofoam.
Mhm.
So I worked really hard as a volunteer down there to get that initiative kind of passed and implemented by the businesses. And then I returned home back to Telluride in June of this previous year and just really wanted to get involved. And I found out about the Mountain Village Green Team, which is a really phenomenal organization of really dedicated and caring environmentalists and business owners of Mountain Village who just want to make a difference. And we meet once a month and have established some subcommittees, one of which is the Planet Over Plastics Initiative. And that was started to address the town council, the town of Mountain Village passed a resolution this past summer to eliminate all single-use plastics in Mountain Village. So the Planet Over Plastics initiative was started to help businesses transition away from plastics and provide them support. So that's kind of a little bit of history around it. We have a 3-phase plan. The first phase of the plan is just collecting data from businesses, baseline information. We've had a little bit of a stall on that due to COVID, but we are still collecting. We have a survey for every business to fill out and find out what exactly they're using right now. And then the second phase is what we're kind of moving into right now during this time, which is community outreach. And we just really want to promote a cultural shift. It's kind of like smoking in bars became really faux pas and nobody does that anymore. We really want to create that same cultural shift with plastic and trash. And so Mountain Village does have a zero waste goal by 2050 to be zero waste. 2030 actually is the date for the zero waste initiative. And yeah, we're just on board with that. And we're moving into the second phase. And hopefully by next December, January, we will go back into the businesses and hopefully take another data point and see a big shift in the amount of plastic that's being used. That's kind of our plan right now.
Yeah. Put
But
the
I am very passionate about the.
sorry. So I
I'm
put
sorry, I couldn't hear you. What were you saying?
yes, the link is in the comments for Planet Over Plastic. I really think you have great information out there, and any business can actually click and join and see how much they actually use and do those surveys that you were talking about. So I think that page is really important and really crucial to
Yes.
any business who wants to participate or even is just curious about it for now. it is really important to be involved and go to that page and check it out.
Yeah, and it's the townofmountainvillage.com. And then if you go to the Green Living tab, you'll find the Planet Over Plastics Initiative page and sign up to volunteer, which we really need volunteers. And as a business, you can fill out the survey and jump on board as well.
So on that note,
we're also posting.
Go ahead.
Yes.
On the volunteering note,
keep going. Go ahead.
Can you tell me more on how I can be more involved and what do the volunteers do? Oftentimes it's hard to volunteer when you're not sure what the expectations will be. And I know it's explained on your page, but I would love for you to cover it. So how can I help? How can I volunteer if I want to? And what does that entail?
So volunteering is really important in order to make this initiative successful. We need a lot of help. And that ranges anywhere from making calls to businesses to find out times that will work to meet with them, to volunteering. We are partnering with the Summer Concert Series, and we're going to need volunteers to help us there to stand at our outreach tables. Also, the summer market, which is continuing on. The Summer Concert Series is still on hold right now, so we're not positive when that will start again, but the summer market will continue, and we're going to have our table there, our marketing table for our outreach. So we'll need volunteers for that, as well as helping just promote the whole initiative. Well, there'll be a lot of different opportunities for that. So whether you can dedicate an hour or one day a week or once a month, any type of volunteers are welcome, and any time that you have available. And we have many different kinds of tasks from all different range of things that we need help with to make sure this initiative is successful.
Yes. And I really would encourage, and I think we have such a great community in Telluride and Mountain Village to volunteer. And I mean, it's not a bad thing to stand for an hour at the summer market. I really feel like it's such a great interaction. People are really wanting to talk about the subject and really see how can we help and what can we do. So if you can, even an hour a week can be so.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
And, knowledge is power, and just getting information out there is really huge. I mean, a lot of people don't know a lot about plastic. You had mentioned just some things about plastic that are important to know. The fact that 8 billion pounds of plastic get into our oceans annually. And out of that plastic, 40% is single use. That means we use it one time and throw it in the trash. So that's a big part of this initiative, is what a waste. It's going to last hundreds and hundreds of years, and we're using it one time. So that's a big part of it. Also, the fact that there's going to be more plastic than fish in the oceans by 2050. It currently represents, it's covering 40% of our ocean surfaces are covered in plastic.
Yeah,
which is really sad.
I used to sell fish for a living, so I'm very aware of what needs to be done to save the ocean, and that definitely. We actually find plastic in fish.
Sorry.
A little bit of plastic.
Yeah.
Tiny bits in fish, like in the meat, because there's so much out there that they eat all day. So it is really something that needs to be done, and not to see when we have time, but take action now. And talking about action, what can we do to start with our home? What can we do now, today, after we listen to us? What can we do to actually make that work?
So a big part of it is knowledge. I highly recommend watching a documentary called Plastic Wars. It's on Frontline. You can find it online. And that goes over a big component of all this, and that is the recycling industry, which originally started by the plastic industry, by the oil industry, which are fully partnered. Basically, the recycling industry was started back in the 60s as a PR solution for big plastic. Big plastic was getting a lot of bad attention from the media, and people were coming down really hard on them. So they started recycling as a way to fix their PR. The problem is recycling is not happening. Only about less than 30% of plastic is recycled. And that's only, in this video, you'll find out, plastic number one, about 20% is recycled. Plastic number two, 30%. Plastic number 5 is about 10%, and all the other plastics are not recycled. So it's a really big misinformation campaign, because you look at the bottom and you see recycling. So this industry is making us believe we can recycle this stuff when actually you cannot. So a big way you can make an impact at home is when you go to the stores, paying attention to what number your plastic is if you're going to get plastic, and looking for that 1 and that 2, because those are the only ones that are potentially recycled. That's a big way you can make a difference. Another way, which is really big for Montrose residents, let me pull up the website really quick. It's called, there is a plastic film recycling program, and you can drop it off at City Market. Let me see, I gotta find it really quickly. If you go to the website is, hold on, my internet, www.trex, T-R-E-X. That is the company that is responsible for recycling this plastic. And it tells you all about where to recycle everything. So let me just pull up where to buy. Hold on one second.
No, thank you for doing that. I think it's so important. I try to recycle my plastic bags because I don't use plastic bags, but if you do a click list, especially for Telluride, and you go pick it up, you can't get paper bags. So we started really, I had to stop click list for that reason, because I have too many plastic bags, and I reuse them around the house all day, but I can't keep up. So it's really becoming a problem for me that I really would like to know, where can I bring them? And I used to be able to bring them at the market, but they don't take them anymore.
So I will tell you it's Trex, and it's let me show you. The participating U.S. locations are, 1 minute. I can't pull it up right now, but if you go to trex.com.
Yep, I put it in the comments too, so everybody can see.
And for some reason, my computer's not pulling it up right now, but they have a recycling program. And actually in Telluride, we have a drop-off point as well. But currently with COVID, they're not accepting the drop-off in Telluride. The program is on a little bit of a halt. But you can still save the stuff and bring it to Montrose. And I don't know why this is not pulling up right now. It's kind of driving me crazy. But
okay, you can
if you go to trex.com.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to see if it pulls up here. But that's one thing you can do with those. But a big part of this, I think, that needs to be driven home is that, in general, we consume too much. We have to start using less. And even though alternatives like paper are good, are better, I should say, there's a high cost to our environment to produce that. So the less you can buy, the better. The less you could use, the better, is kind of the big solution. I know that with compostable stuff, it's a tiny bit better, but it really doesn't. It's not able to compost unless you have mass composting, industrial composting, which is, they have in Delta, which is good, but there's not really a program developed right now to deal with it. So the key is to reduce it, and to just be aware when you're going into the store, starting to look at the things you're buying and what is wrapped in plastic and what is not. You always have a choice at the store, and you can make a wise choice. Yeah. So that's a big part of it. And I think that just being aware that most plastic is not recycled is huge for people to know about that. Yeah. Another way that is I'm going to be posting another blog this coming week, which is all about plastic and how you can reduce waste in your life. So if anybody wants to tap into that, my previous blog is also on our Mountain Village website, the Green Team. If you go under the Mountain Village website and then you go to Green Team, you'll see the the green tip of the month. And there's a blog there about things to reduce your impact during COVID. And my next blog is going to be all about plastic. So if you all want to follow that, there'll be some great ways you can help and reduce your impact on that blog.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
I just said agreed.
Yeah. But I think that I recently watched this really great, really intense documentary, and a quote from it really stuck out to me. And about now, I know this might all seem overwhelming. It's the kind of thing we normally don't think about, but by not thinking about it, it stands a good chance of doing us in. I truly believe that the path to change comes from awareness. That awareness alone can begin to create the transformation. There is a way out of this. We humans must accept that infinite growth on a finite planet is suicide. And it's true. We cannot just keep consuming and growing. We have to be aware of what we're doing and just reducing. And there on that website, I talk about consumption on the blog that I posted. And if you are going to consume, what are some companies that are maybe supporting more sustainable products? I'm going to be posting on this current blog some great companies that are doing plastic free for your kitchen, to your bathroom, to everything. And it's some really great products. Like I have currently been focusing on trying to go plastic free in the bathroom. It's very hard, but I've actually found a bar soap and conditioner that have worked fabulously on my hair, and they come wrapped in paper. So think of how many bottles that saves every month.
It's
so I think that it's just.
I really think that we're very misled, though. To come back to your plastic numbers, I didn't know they were numbered. I always look for the sign, but I think it's easier for us oftentimes to just believe what we're told. Because if I have my recycling bin and I put everything in it and I recycle my glass as well, and I take the time to sort it, I'm assuming I'm doing something good. At the end of the day, though, 60% of what's in my recycling can is not going to be recycled. And that is important to know. And I think we have to stop willingly look the other way.
I agree. It's time to start. We can't just, and that's another thing is the lifestyle we live. This lifestyle of easiness and making everything so easy and to go. And that's a big thing with COVID right now too, that there's a lot of waste being produced. So I think that we really have to start shifting our lifestyles, and it's not going to be quite as convenient, but we have to give up our convenience for the health of the planet. And we're at this critical point in history when we really need to start paying attention, and we really need to start making a shift in our daily lives for the future. To have a planet that's livable.
Well, so I left Europe about 20 years ago, and 10 years ago, they started removing the plastic bags from the grocery stores. And I will tell you, at first, you forget your reusable bag, but they sell it right there for $1. And then it's really, once you're used to doing it, it is not that difficult to, and it's one of the number one usage of plastic is those plastic bags from the grocery stores. It's really not that difficult to not use them. And the more you can not use those, and even if you forgot your reusable bag, take paper, just try your best, and maybe even harder than your best to make an effort and make a change.
Yeah.
And
it really does make a difference. I mean, the kids I'm living with right now, I'm helping the family out. Their mother is a nurse, and I've been helping her out with her kids, and they've really taken it on quickly. And we watched that documentary together, and so now they're looking at the bottom of all the plastic we get in the store, and if it's not a 1 or a 2, they're like, no, let's not buy that. That makes a huge difference. Small shifts have a really big rippling impact. And I think it's just really important to remind people. Sometimes you feel like, oh, I just don't want to think about that too, but it's really important that we become aware and we start thinking about these things and make these small shifts that have huge impacts.
Yeah, I agree.
For the future.
And it starts, a lot of people say we have to teach our children, and we do, but it starts with us. If we don't do it, we have to be that role model that shows, oh, what did you learn today? Because I will tell you, I've been looking into sustainability, and I was a lot more with fishing back when I sold fish. It was all about fishing methods and nets left in the oceans, and a lot of fishing gear, and it's a big issue as well. So I wasn't aware, and honestly, I felt like I was sustainability oriented and aware. But when you're telling me these with these numbers, I didn't even know. That's stunning to me. That
I know.
Feels involved and feels like I'm on top of it. And I don't use plastic bag when I don't have to. And if I do, I reuse them in the house. Like, I really felt like I was aware. And after talking to you, I feel like, oh no, I got to start over. Like, this is not enough. It's not enough.
Well, I think that every little bit we learn, and you just got to keep on expanding your knowledge base so that you can know what's happening. And again, on that blog that I wrote last week, I have a list of different documentaries that are really eye-opening. But the one I really recommend for everyone is Plastic Wars. Mm-hmm. And it's just really revealing, because we think recycling is just the answer, and it's not. We have to refuse plastic. We have to reduce the amount we're using. We have to refuse it. We have to repurpose it. But recycling is not, it's like the least of the 3 R's. And I think as a kid, and we're teaching people recycle, it's really been ingrained in our society. And honestly, it's not solving the problem. It is a huge problem. And when you think about the tiny percentage that actually gets recycled, it's not the solution. So that's one of the big things about this initiative is we want to eliminate single-use plastic, especially if 40% of what we're using is throwaway. You're using it one time. That's insanity.
Blows my mind.
We need to start thinking about reusables. We need to get people to have their own reusable kits that you bring. Just a simple thing you can do at home is say no to the silverware they give you for to-goes. Say no for the ketchup packets and the mayonnaise. Please, no, thank you. Recommend that they use less packaging when they're packaging your to-goes. These little things have a big impact. And if everyone starts doing that, it creates that cultural shift that I'm talking about. If we as consumers start demanding these things and stop buying these products, well, then the producers have to change.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's a big part of it is awareness. Yeah.
Yes. And styrofoam is the worst you can buy. So it literally gets my hair up on my arms if I order something to go and it's packed in styrofoam. It just sits forever.
Yep.
It is one of the worst that you can do.
So I have this really great, actually this is going to be my current blog that I'm writing about the different plastic numbers. And it gives you information about each number, plastics by the number. And it actually goes into, let me find it really quickly, plastic by the numbers. So it goes into styrofoam. It talks about each kind of plastic, what kind of things they're made of. And polystyrene or styrofoam is not recycled at all, cannot be recycled. And actually it represents 35% of landfills.
Oh, absolutely, because it's
styrofoam.
It goes anywhere. It doesn't break down.
Yep.
So if you ever get a delivery and it's packed in styrofoam, keep it as a cooler for camping because it's going to be great for it. But do not dispose of it because it's going nowhere if you throw it away.
No.
And so when you think about, Go ahead, sorry.
And I think putting that pressure on our businesses, when you see a business that's using styrofoam, simply saying, why are you still using that? Do you know that never breaks down? Do you know that represents 35% of our landfills? Do you know that 22% or 44%, I guess, of seabirds have plastic inside of them? 22% of other sea animals, and almost every single sea turtle in the ocean, crustaceans, 22%, and almost every single sea turtle in the ocean has plastic in it. It's like, plus not to mention that
they filter the water all day. That's all they do. So, if you think about mussels and oysters and all these, it's inevitable if we keep throwing it out there that they're going to be full of it. And so it is so important for us to have that cultural shift. And I love that you put it that way, because
it really is.
And it does happen, just like the smoking, just like so many things if you look at the last 20 years. And we have more information today than any time ever. We have access to those, not only documentary, but you can do your own research and get that information like never before. Before, it was easier to look the other way because we didn't have all this information at the tip of our fingers. Now there is no excuse, right?
No. And I think that one thing we often forget about being here in the mountains is we are far removed from the ocean. So sometimes we don't see the direct impact, but I will say that microplastics were falling in rain over the Rockies. They found extensive amounts of microplastic falling over the Rockies in rain in 2018. So that's a big deal. We are not removed from the problem. And remember, every single river eventually goes to the sea. So it's really important, the Mountain to Ocean Coalition, and that we take a stand as well. Plastic is mainly showing up in the oceans, but it's everywhere, and it's a problem for everyone. And they're just barely starting to find some of the terrible side effects on human hormones and reproductive organs and stuff. Plastic is really detrimental to your health.
Yeah.
So not only is it hurting our planet, it's hurting our bodies.
Yeah.
So I think it's just really important. But, plastic was going to be the thing the material that saved the world in my grandparents' generation. So, and since 2000, like I was telling you before, we've produced half of the plastic has been produced since 2000. So it's really accelerating. And the plastic companies right now, with big oil being, kind of having to stay away from transportation. We're kind of leaning towards cleaner energy. They're really investing in plastic because they need to keep, bringing in that income. So they're investing a lot of money, and they're projecting tripling the amount of plastic by 2050 production. So we're in this really critical time right now where we need to take a stand and demand that this stops. So I just hope that everyone can, and like I said, even small changes make a huge impact.
Yep.
And so if you want to follow the blogs, I highly recommend. There's tons and tons and tons of resources and local resources that I've been posting, as well as national and international resources for people to increase their knowledge base and basically be able to contribute to the solution.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I can't believe it's been already over 28 minutes. So I just wanted to thank you, and really I appreciate your support and your investment into the green living, because I really think that Mountain Village is on the right path. And I'm really hoping that as you guys can do it well, it can bleed out to, from the town of Telluride.
And that is our hope.
Yeah, me too.
That's our hope for the greater region. So definitely go to mountainvillage.com and /green living. And then you'll find there both the green team is where we post all of our blogs. Under the green team, it's called the Green Team Tip of the Month. You'll see our blogs. You can find a lot of information if you're wondering how to reduce your impact in your household and in your community and what alternatives are out there. Please check that out. And if you want to sign up and help us out, the Planet Over Plastic Initiatives is also under the Green Living tab.
Yep, I put the link in there so it's easy for everybody to find. And it's actually townofmountainvillage.com. So I put it in there. It's easy to follow.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, that's fine. Click on there and then make sure you volunteer. If you're doing what you know at home and an hour here and there, just make sure you volunteer this summer. It will not only be fun because you're surrounded by people who want to make a difference, but you will also be able to then make a difference. So make sure you volunteer.
And just maybe you want to put the link to of the green team link is where they can find the blogs for more information.
Okay, great.
About plastic use and sustainability.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much for joining us. I learned a ton, and like I said, I really thought I was following up with plastic, but I learned a ton from you. So thank you so much for all the details, and I'm definitely going to watch that Plastic Wars. I can't wait to see it. So hopefully, you and I.
Definitely. That's a really informational.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for your
Sounds
time.
good. Awesome.
And then
Have a
tell
good day.
Monarch and
Okay.
that we said hello.
I will. Take care.
Thanks so much, Inga. You have a great rest of the day.
Bye.
Bye.